when I see that kind of money, it's like it's not just a matter of listening to somebody doing it. It's a matter of like, you know what you're doing, but you built that from the ground up. To bring in $500,000 a year is insane. So what is what is the strategy? Maybe not because it's very.
I'll tell you.
You see what I mean?
Yeah, I'll tell you exactly how I was able to make. Last year was $551,000. So I'll tell every single one right here, anyone who's listening, on how I was able to do this, because I want everyone to go trade. There's nothing that if I tell everyone how I made this money that it's going to affect me in any sort of way. It's not like it's a competition. It's if I tell you how I was able to do this, go out and make that money, you make a killing, and let's all absolutely crush it together. There's no downside for me telling you this information. So this is exactly how I did it. When you wake up every single morning, you want to look through all the hottest press releases of the day. There's going to be hundreds and thousands of press releases. So what I always like to do is I like to filter out the stocks that are going to be within my price range. I like to play the stocks that have very high volatility, very low float. So what float is going to be the shares offered to the public. These are the shares that us as the common people can go ahead and trade. We're going to look for stocks that have 5 million in float or under. These means there's very little supply. Now, when there's a very hot press release behind these plays, that's going to bring in an extremely high demand. So this just comes down to simple economics. When we have a very low supply and a very high demand, what happens? Price increases. Think about it as the housing market. Everyone wants to go ahead and buy a house, but we only have a few houses available for sale, and we have hundreds and thousands and millions of people who want to buy these homes. So that's why, again, houses that were $500,000 are now $1 million. Now let's apply that to our stock trading. And let's think about when we wake up in the morning and there's a stock, a penny stock, a stock that's maybe within $1, $2, $3, $5, $7, $10 price range. And all of a sudden it comes out with a press release that's very rare. Just came out with positive drug trial treatments. We have, again, reduction in tumors in our liver. We have, again, positive cancer treatments, things that get the people excited. Well, guess what happens? Everyone just free falls and just runs right over that play, and it becomes a first come, first serve type of deal. We see pump and dumps every single day in the stock market. Now, not the pump and dumps you may think of, not the pump and dumps on Jordan Belfort or Leonardo DiCaprio in The Wolf of Wall Street, where they're a brokerage calling up again their customers and saying, hey, go buy this. It's essentially a natural pump and dump that happens every single day, and it will never change. And that's the thing about the stock market world. There's basically two different ways that you could be able to make tons of money in the stock market. Number one, you are going to want to find these hot press releases off these low float plays, and you want to beat the mob. When I say the mob, I'm talking about the majority of buyers. Press releases come out every single
MOB,
day.
Majority of buyers.
Oh, yeah,
wow.
We got it now. Nice
there
acronym.
Great acronym. You didn't create that, did you?
Oh, yeah, I did.
No way. Yeah. That's a good one.
So press releases come out every single morning at around 7 o'clock. You're going to have a few drizzles that are going to be at like 5:30, 6:15, all these different weird areas. But the majority of press releases are going to come at 7 in the morning, then 7:30, then 8 o'clock, then 8:30, then 9 o'clock. Now, we know the stock market opens up at 9:30. Now, you can trade in what we call pre-market. Most people don't realize you can actually trade before the market even opens. You might see stocks before the market even opens. The stock may be up 200%, 300% potentially if they came out with great drug trials. Because remember what we just talked about. We are looking for stocks that have low floats, low supply, with, again, a very big press release, which just brought in a ton of demand. Everyone wants to trade that stock. So everyone rushes into it and the stock goes on a huge spike. So number one, I could buy stocks before everyone else wakes up. If you wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning every single day, and you are watching the news and you have, let's say, a scanner that will show you, again, some of the best press releases, there's almost, I would say, an 80 to 85% chance that you're going to be successful. You know why? Because the majority of people aren't going to wake up early. Majority of people are going to sleep in every single day. If you want to talk about 80% of people who fail, that comes down to people wake up at 9:30 and say, hey, what's going on in the stock market? People who show up every single day at 10 o'clock, 10:30 and say, what's going on? Well, the play already happened.
It's over.
In stock trading, the early bird truly does get the worm. Because if we have a press release that says, hey, we have just discovered how we're going to cure this rare disease. If I see that at 7 in the morning, I'm jumping in on it. Then someone who wakes up at 7:45, they jump in on it. Then someone who wakes up at 8 o'clock, 8:15, 8:45, 9 o'clock, they all start jumping in on it. And since I bought in low, every single time someone buys in, the price goes higher and higher, which makes, again, my shares currently more valuable.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, of course.
Because I'm always curious, right?
Yeah.
So pre-market, you're an advocate for pre-market, clearly,
I love
right?
pre-market, yeah.
So people that utilize, and this is where I think there's always a fear, right? Because like you get the TikTok people, you get the, and I call them TikTok people because if you go on if you literally go on TikTok, every 2 seconds, it's a 14-year-old that uses Robinhood to trade.
Yeah.
Robinhood doesn't allow you to do pre-market trading. Well, it does, but you can make your trades at 9 o'clock, but they don't hit anything until 9:30, and you have to buy them at the market price.
I believe they just changed
Really?
to 8 a.m. I believe they just changed.
Because that's why I'm always curious. I'm like, well, you do pre-market, in theory, I mean, if you're trading, going through it, you shouldn't be trading on Robinhood. You should be utilizing like a brokerage where you're able to see everything in front of your face, right?
Yeah.
It's like you use Lightspeed, things like that.
Mhm.
But that idea of getting in early, like it's smart to do it through like a full-fledged brokerage and have all your charts and everything you need in front of you, correct?
I understand not everyone can just sit in front of a computer all day. I understand that people have work, people have jobs. They can't just say, all right, I'm going to wake up and just sit in front of my desktop all day. But if you can be in front of a laptop, if you can be in front of a desktop, I definitely support it over a phone.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because it's much easier to be able to move a mouse and be able to type in things rather than going from page to page on your phone and trying to get in and out. You can't watch against certain indicators, level 2s, different tools you may need. So on a desktop, I could see the news scanner. I could see a level 2. I could be able to see my charts. I could be able to, type in, the entries and exits that I want. But it really comes down, as we talked about, to sacrifice sleep for profit. And that's something I always think about every single morning when I wake up. Let's say at 7 o'clock in the morning, I walk into your room and I start saying, Ralph, wake up right now. You're going to turn to me and you're going to say, how the heck did you get in here? But you're also going to say, how the heck did you get in here? But I'm also going to say, if you wake up right now, I'll give you $500. I can guarantee every single person would jump out of their bed.
I'd make a cup of coffee. Are you kidding me?
Every single person would jump out of bed. But people don't think about that. You got to think about perspective. If you get up at 7 in the morning, the best press release may be at 7 o'clock. The best press release may be at 7:30. The best press release may be at 8 o'clock. But this is what happens. People get inspired when I say this and they say, you know what? I'm going to start waking up early. I'm going to watch the news and I'm going to find that best play, just like, again, Sean Deckmar said, and I'm going to be able to make the most money possible. But maybe that day that you wake up, there is no big hot press release. And then you just say, man, I just woke up super early for no reason. And then the next day, maybe again, there is no, or maybe they missed out on it and they say, man, I just wake up for no reason. So now they sleep in the next day. They say, okay, it wouldn't hurt if I go to 8:30. And then you get in that bad habit of just sleeping in again and again and again. It's almost like, again, you want to lose weight. You want to get into fitness. You start going, let's say 1, 2, 3 days in a row. But then you say, let me dive into a little bit of that brownie. Not going to hurt. Then you got 2 brownies. Then you got 10 brownies. And then you're kind of back to where you started. So you have to get into that habit of waking up early. Now, I know the West Coast traders right now are saying to themselves,
I didn't wake up at 5 o'clock.
You don't understand, Deck. You're on the East Coast.
For the record, when Deck used to come out and visit me in LA and used to stay in my apartment, I used to hate the fact that he'd be up at 4:30 in the morning pacing around my apartment getting ready, and I'd be sitting here like, I have work to go. I have to go to the film set.
I did it.
And he's over here at 4 o'clock in the morning just like getting fired up, looking in the mirror like, let's go. And I'm like, this is insanity. So he is when he says he does it, I promise you, he actually does it. It's a real thing.
Because stock trading, day trading, you're not supposed to be in front of your computer for 12 hours a day. That's why we do it. That's why we love it. That's why we fall in love with this job, because we want to have that financial freedom. How awesome would it be if you could really just work from 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock to 9:30, and then you go out and enjoy your life? That's why, again, people get involved in stock trading and day trading.
2-hour workday.
So yeah, exactly. So let's get back to the strategy, because I don't want to get too off course, and I actually want to tell people how this works. So we talked about, again, low float. Extremely important. The number that we always want to be looking for is 10 million or under. You can go to yahoofinance.com, click statistics. It's going to be on the right-hand corner or the right column. Scroll down a little bit. Remember, float are the shares offered to the public, us, that we can go ahead and trade. Now, what we want to see is a hot press release, as we talked about, because that's going to bring in the demand. So let's say we catch these hot press releases. Boom, we make that easy cash, we make that easy money. But how was I able to make the majority of my trades? How was I able to make the majority of my money? $551,000, over $500,000 last year. Because I'm going to sit here and I'll tell you right now, I didn't catch a ton of plays in pre-market trading. But you know what most people do? They wake up, they see a 200% spiker, and they say, that's the one I want to buy. Market opens up at 9:30. Market opens up at right at that 9:30 mark, and they want to go ahead and buy into it. Most traders lose from chasing.
You're saying people want to jump in at that point when it's already
people want to jump in?
spiked?
Absolutely. Everyone wants to jump in.
I mean, I'm not a genius, but
think about this. Okay, let's think about GameStop. Think about GameStop.
Oh, yeah.
Think about AMC. GameStop went from $14 to
400 plus.
It went to $4.90. At $4.75, I saw people saying, you're an idiot if you don't jump in right now. It's like, what are you guys talking about? You know, it's like we are still early. That's what people would say. You are early to the game after after a $400 spike. And I mean, everyone's just trying to pump it on up. Everyone's trying to promote it. So guess what? Look through a chart right now. Go to finviz.com and you'll see all the top gainers of today. Whenever you're listening to this podcast, whenever you're watching this podcast, go to finviz.com, type in all the top, you'll see the top gainers of the day. I can guarantee you within the next day or two, all of those top gainers are going to be some of the biggest losers. Now, we talked about pump and dumps earlier, and we talked about how pump and dumps were how a lot of brokerages were able to make money. Very scammy and are illegal. And it's illegal when you, as an individual, pump up a non-credible company. That's illegal to do. You can't sell basically bad shares to, again, customers for your own benefit. But in the day trading world, it's kind of like an unwritten rule that every single one of these plays are natural pump and dumps, I would call them. Because these plays that are low float stocks with big press releases, people are going to buy in on them because I know that person's going to buy in on it, and that person's going to buy in it, and that group's going to go on it, and that Discord's going to go on it. And again, that person on TikTok's going to alert it. So if you like it or not, these penny stocks that are coming out with these drug trials and these, again, different sort of press releases, they're not good companies. We all know that. I'm not in on this for the long haul. People always ask me, they say, when you introduce someone and you meet someone, you shake their hand and they say, oh, hey, I'm Ralph. And I say, oh, I'm Sean. And then you have a little introduction talk and they say, hey, what do you do for a living? And I say, oh, I day trade, I stock trade. And they're always like, whoa, nice. Okay, hey, let me ask you a question. They say, what's a good stock right now to get involved in? What's a good stock to invest in? I shake my head and I say, I'm not sure. And they say, you're a stock trader? You're a day trader? And I say, yeah. They're like, okay, well, just tell me a company that you like. I have no idea, and the reason why I say this is because every single day it changes. People ask me, Deck, what are you putting in $100,000 in? I can't even name the name of the company. I know it as stock XYZ, the ticker. I know it as TSLA, Tesla. So I don't care. People read the
You're
entire.
Going off of,
I'm going off of
numbers
hype,
and what you're
I'm
saying.
going off of hype and momentum.
Yeah,
that's it. And you know what dies off very quickly? Hype and momentum. So let's get it right here. We have all these plays that go bonkers every single morning. If you look at every single top gainer, they will be down, basically giving everything back the moment the next day happens when the hot new press release takes over. Let's not, again, talk about politics, but let's just kind of understand how that works. We may have a story on Fox, on CNN, which is insane, and everyone's going crazy about the story. You have people battling heads. Next week happens, all of a sudden there's a new story. And it seems like everyone completely forgot what they were even arguing about last week. You know how that happens all the time, it seems like? And then, we can think about a million different ways how that happens. Stock trading is no different. We wake up, we have stock XYZ go on a huge rip. The moment it starts falling, the moment, again, people start taking their profits, everyone says, I'm done on it. And now they move on to the next play. And they say, oh, wow, today, this stock, stock BCA, that's the play. And everyone starts buying on that one until that one starts falling. So something that a lot of people don't realize is you can short stocks, which means you can make money as the stock falls. You can make money as the stock drops on down. So what I do every single day and how I made 80% of that $551,000 is all you do is you have patience. All you have to do is you wait for the play to go on the big spike. Don't get involved in it. Let the TikTokers go crazy. Let, again, the Discords go crazy. Let the people that you usually end up losing keep pushing it higher and higher and higher until, guess what? It loses that steam. And the moment it loses that steam, just go ahead and put a short order in. And I can tell you probably 90% of the time, the next day it's going to be red. You're going to have your occasional multi-day spiker. But remember, we talked about hype and momentum. There's nothing illegal about trading a stock that is about momentum and then starts coming right back on down. That's natural price movement. But in these low volatility, low float stocks, it's kind of like an unwritten rule from day trades that everyone's going to play the lowest float stock. That's the stock that everyone's going to buy in from the hottest press release. And if you're not in early, don't be a chaser. If you're not in early, wait for the top and just wait for the stock to start turning. I'm telling you right now, finviz.com, write down all the top gainers. What they are right now, they're probably going to be the top losers within the next 48 hours. Short them, which means you make money as the stock falls. Most people don't even realize you can do that. Everyone just wants to buy stocks and keep buying it. Everyone wants to find the next GameStop or the next AMC, which I understand, that's fine. But everyone loses at first because they buy stocks after they've already gone the big rips and big runs. You can't buy stocks after they've already spiked. If you buy stocks after they already spiked, it makes no sense. You're buying at the top. Like right now, do you think it's a great idea to buy a house at this moment?
No. That's why I'm renting now. Like we just got an apartment. I'm like,
exactly. Why would you ever want to buy at the very tippity top? You're probably going to end up losing money somewhere down the line.
I can't wait because once it blows, I'm beyond excited.
Exactly.
It's there. Like I can't wait. The pre-approval's there. It's a matter of going and making it happen.
Even real estate's good, incredible. Now we're talking about a stock that moved 300% in the matter of, again, 3 hours, and we're expecting to buy this and people saying, oh yeah, hold long term. It doesn't matter what play it is. Even if it's Tesla. If Tesla spiked 300% in a day, there's going to be pullbacks. If Tesla spiked again 300% in the matter of a day, people are going to lock in their profits. Mm-hmm. And when you have a stock that's non-credible based off momentum, the moment people start selling is the moment everyone gets worried. Everyone starts dumping their shares. Everyone starts moving on and looks for the next one. Every single day, it's the same exact thing. And as I said, I don't mind telling the whole entire world this. And I hope this video gets, again, 10 million views because I want you guys to be able to make money. There is, again, long-term investing. Long-term investing is great and it's credible. There is, again, real estate. And you can go ahead and put money in real estate and that's great and that's credible. But either, again, wake up early and buy the stock right when it comes out with a hot press release, low float, 10 million or under. You'll look for these hot keywords such as agreement, such as partnership, such as contract, such as awarded. These are all, again, some keywords that I teach and what I always look for. And then after that, if I miss out on it, that's fine. But have the discipline and stay away from the emotion of wanting to jump in. Because I know as the stock goes higher and higher and higher, you see people posting money. You see people posting profits. And you say to yourself, man, I want to jump in. You end up buying and it starts turning. Just wait for that tipping point, then go ahead and short it. And every single day, you're going to be able to make some sort of profit. Now, again, there will be those times that a stock goes higher than expected. There will be times that, of course, it might be a multi-day breakout where maybe you have one or two. But this is the strategy that I use. And I want you guys to be able to apply it because you and I were talking earlier about this. Easiest way to understand this. There's 8,517 stocks currently available to trade. That's what you guys can go on your E-Trade, TD Ameritrade, whatever. You can choose from 8,517 plays right now. It's difficult to pick the winner. It's difficult to pick the one. It's very easy to do. Wait for the one that's up 300%. There's your winner right there.
Yeah.
Just short it right back on down. But every single day in your group chats, every single day in your random discords, every single day when you're on Twitter, everyone's typing out what's the best play today. Just have the answer given to you. The answer is going to be right there. It's the stock that's getting pumped up the highest from against social media. Social media is a crazy thing. We never had this, again, type of power. Your parents, we are kind of like the first generation of true day traders. There was day traders on Wall Street and such. But
but it was hush hush. I remember talking about it with my uncle because he works on the exchange.
Yeah.
And every time you say day trade, it's almost like, what? Like, we need day trade. You know what I mean?
Wall Street hates day traders.
Oh, they hate them because there's no way to really all the time you could talk to him and great guy. You know what I mean? Love my uncle to death. But it's that idea of it's always like, oh, I don't know. Like it's risky. It's this, that risk. And it's like,
but that's why I was attracted to day trading when I first started because I wanted to learn how to be able to make money. And I said, how can we make money? But long-term investments pay 10% per year. Imagine if you put in $1,000 and at the end of the year, it's like, thanks for $100.
Thanks for $100.
Thanks for $100.
Thanks for $100 for the year.
How insane is that? So I said, what is going to have the highest percentage of returns? Highest percentage of return is going to be trading stocks with high volatility, stocks that move the most. But it's also, again, comes down to the fact that a stock that moves up the most can also move down the most, which means you can lose. So you have to have a set strategy where you can say, all right, hey, I want to be able to make the most and not lose the most. This comes from stop losses. This comes from the strategy that I'm talking about right now. You just got to know what you're doing. And too many people rush into it. Every single person can be successful. Every single one. There's no reason for you not to become a full-time day trader and be able to make $500,000. But it just comes down to everyone opens up that Robinhood account and then they start trading right away when they don't know what they're doing yet. Give it again 3 months, 6 months, give it 10 months of paper trading, watching the news, trying things on out before you just go full force in it. But everyone goes full force right away. They lose their money and they give up. And that's just, what you have to avoid. So if you want to make that big cash, if you want to make that big money, I know I can't explain everything right here, but it really comes down to I'm willing to wake up early when most people are willing to sleep. I'm going to find that hot press release right away. And if I do miss that hot press release, well, then I have the answer right there. And I'm just going to short at the moment momentum starts shifting. Every single day trader, every single, again, group, I always think about it as like teenagers. It's very emotional. When it's going up, everyone loves it. When it starts going down, everyone hates it, moves on, never talks about it again. And then everyone waits till the next day to do the same thing all over again. It's like natural pumps.
I think it's cool. I like how you brought that up too, because like one thing you see, seeing everybody and their mom now all of a sudden they're a day trader or a TikTok trader or what it is, and it's join my Discord, join my chat room, this, that, and the other thing. It's cool seeing like you doing it from your dorm room. Friggin', I don't even 7 years ago, 8 years ago. What is it? 2022 now?
Yeah.
20. Wow, like even earlier, 2015. So like seeing it there when TikTok wasn't a thing. I remember being on stock twits with you and like watching you do it, like when literally none of this was a thing. So now it's at a point where everybody wants to do it. And like you've already like established yourself into it. Like, well, I've been doing it for 7 years, and it always makes me laugh whenever I go to your TikTok and I see some like hater person just like.
I mean, TikTok's a little different because I got to act like a psychopath half the time. You know?
But like just the comments from like these like one-off people that are like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. He's a pump and dump magnet. And it's like, if you just watch 1 second of anything that he talks about, or like even go to his streams, you realize that it's not a pump and dump. Sure, maybe like the advice that you're giving out to people would cause it to pump and dump, but like you don't just say we should buy this and then you already have like 20,000 shares in the hopper.
That's why it's so. I get what you're saying. There are so many people nowadays who have Discords and things along these lines, and that's why no matter what I do, I live stream everything. Like
it's accountability.
I live stream every single thing I do in real time. If I ever jump into a trade, I tell everyone before that I'm going to be looking to get in on this play. You will never find me in on a play not telling people, because I don't ever want to have anyone to even have that of, oh, again, you're pushing a stock on up in any sort of way. I live stream everything I do on TradeCaster in real time. And I tell again before what stocks I like. I say, hey, that's a stock I like. That's a stock I like. And you see my broker. So the moment I buy in, it's there. And again, I don't want people to follow me. That's the thing. I want to teach. I want you guys to be able to say to yourself, hey, I know what he's doing for this reason. I don't want anyone to just say, oh, I'm just going to follow Sean and just do what he does, because that's not going to be successful. It makes no sense to just follow me without ever learning. The same exact example would be, people sometimes do that. They say, Sean, I just want to learn the same thing that you do, and I'll just be able to make the same amount of money. Imagine if you played for the Buccaneers, okay? You never picked up a football in your life, ever, one time in your life. And all of a sudden you walk over to Tom Brady and you say, Tom, just tell me what to do. Just tell me what to do. And Tom goes, I don't think that's going to work. And he goes, no, just tell me and it'll be fine. Tom walks over and he says, all right, I mean, we're going against the Bengals right now. They got a good defense, but go out there, run a fake 23 blast with a backside George reverse. Just make sure you're looking for the man in the slot and make sure that again you're taking out the corner. I don't know what this means. Hey, again, get out there quick. All of a sudden you walk up there, you're like, all right, guys, we got again a fake Georgie push the ball. Okay, you ready? And then all of a sudden you get under there and then you get sacked. You get absolutely killed. You run over to Tom, say, Tom, what are you doing here, man? You didn't give me, again, the right guidance. You didn't. Tom says, have you ever played football in your life? No. Do you know this play? No. Do you know how to throw a spiral? No. Do you know how to, again, look off a defense? No. So
there it is.
If you don't put in any sort of work, why do you expect to be able to have that same exact level? I want everyone to be successful. I'm literally willing to tell you everything that I do, but it does come down to, again, that work. Think about it as a fitness trainer. Fitness trainer could meet you every single day. A fitness trainer can show up at the gym the same exact hours, even more hours than you. Says, all right, this is what we're going to be able to do. We're going to, again, do our bench press. We're going to do a shoulders. We're going to do legs. We're going to do squats. We're going to do everything right here. If you just sit there and play on your phone the whole entire time, can you show up 6 months later and be like, I'm still like a fat piece of shit right here. What's going on here? It's like you have to be willing to put in the work. And that's what it comes down to. So while learning this strategy, you got to master it now. Mm-hmm. And you got to be able to find those tells on when the stock is going to start turning. Look for, again, things, if you want to do it on your own, start Googling things called upper shadows. That's going to be a great tell. You can watch, again, a level 2, learn how to level 2 and be able to see when bids are starting to take control or when, again, shorters are starting to take control. Start looking for, again, stocks that have larger floats, lower floats. See how they're, again, changing in the speed of them on every single trade. So it does come down to certain plays, but I wanted to make sure that everyone understands this.
Yeah. You're probably loving the market now that it's red if you're shorting all last year, right?
Yeah, well, this is the thing about the market. In 2022 so far, I've definitely been more conservative.
Yeah.
And the reason why I've been so conservative is because the market has been dropping and dropping and dropping. And with, again, dropping, I'm being more conservative. That means another person's being more conservative and another person's being more conservative. Another person's being more conservative. So that means we have lack of volatility. We have lack of volume, right? So the more people that are trading, the more stocks go crazy because more people are buying and selling. When people are being more conservative, people are nervous, which makes stocks either go on quick little pops on up and dumps on down, where you get caught up in fake out breakouts, or maybe again, a stock doesn't do what you actually think it's going to do. It's very hard to predict. So I've just been dibbling and dabbling a little bit in 2022 because right now the S&P 500 is coming down to one of the most beautiful areas that we have seen in so long. And we are again starting to work our way towards a recession. Now, when I say the word recession, what are some key words that may pop into your head? You as, just an average, when you hear the word recession, what pops in your head, do you think?
Homelessness, people going to lose their homes, jobs, cutbacks on a lot of things. I think unemployment, right? I'm thinking of it more of an economic as opposed to stock market. But
no, absolutely, because that's what we're programmed. That when we hear the word recession, we think of all those words you just thought about. People losing their jobs, people losing their houses, horrible time to invest, stock market crashing.
Yeah, I feel like it's the best time to invest because everything's at an all-time low then.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Theory, like if everything's low,
when
why
I hear
not?
the word recession,
I know where you're going.
When I hear the word recession,
You're taking on a mortgage.
It is, people don't realize what's coming on up right here. People don't realize that this is going to be one of the best times that you are going to be able to make millions of dollars. Here's a fun fact right here. Most millionaires are made the year after a recession, 2009, 2010, because everything is the cheapest. You hear, again, the average person is going to be getting scared. Save your money. Don't spend. Don't invest. Take your money out of stocks. Don't, again, get involved in something. This is the best time. So let's learn about this. I'm a big numbers guy. I like to go off the stats. So when we do research over the past 100 years, the average bull market, which means we believe that the stock market is going to be able to continue to move itself on up, is going to last 9.1 years, is going to have an average return of 476%.
And for those listening, bull run is up, bear is down.
Exactly. The average bear, or let's say the average recession, is going to last 14 months and have an average drop of 41%. Now that's over, again, the past 120 years. Let's again repeat those numbers one more time, okay? 9 years of climbing with a 476% return compared to a bear market, which is going to be 14 months of dropping with a 41% decline.
Tell me I can get Facebook for 40% discount, things like that.
Exactly. Yeah. But we only get it once a decade. We get it once a decade, and you're going to miss out on this opportunity. If you talk to anyone, let's say who is over the age of 25, over the age of 30 back in 2008, I bet you every single one of them regret not getting into the stock market when it was at its lowest point. If you have money saved up, right now I'm saving a lot of my money. I'm saving a lot of my cash, not because I want to keep it in my savings account, because I know a lot of people would say, oh, you don't ever want to keep money in your savings account. I understand that, but because I want to be able to have that cash liquid for investing. Right now, the S&P 500 is down 15%. The NASDAQ, which is the tech stocks, that's currently down around 20% in a bear market at this moment. If we can see the S&P 500 drop anywhere near that 40%, I'm not even waiting for 40%. I'm going to wait for around 25%.
You're just going to launch.
And I'm launching everything because I know that statistically speaking, I'm going to have the next 9 years of growth. 9 years of growth with an average of 476%.
But then would you be long-term investing still and then jump back into day trading?
Oh yeah.
You see what I mean? Like, would you just be like, all right, I'm going to lock it in here at 25?
Once I put in money, I'm going to be able to retire. I'm going to be set, But we only get this opportunity once a decade. So right now, let's talk about what's happening in the market. Okay. Let's talk about what we're currently seeing, because the best way to understand this current world, this current economy, is to really break it on down. So we had, again, the pandemic hit back in 2020. Mm-hmm. Now, when the pandemic hit, everyone started freaking out. Everyone started getting nervous. Everyone was getting scared. And the Federal Reserve said, oh my goodness, we're going to drop into a recession. So you know what happened? Of course, we had our lockdowns. We had businesses start closing. People were getting scared. People didn't want to go out. And we started seeing the stock market tumble. We started seeing everything start dropping. And now the Federal Reserve says, we got to stimulate this economy. So how do we stimulate it? Let's send out stimulus checks. Every single family gets $1,500. Let's drop interest rates all the way down towards zero. Let's get people out there spending. We created this monster where now everyone is going crazy, buying homes. Everyone is spending money nonstop. We also have supply chain issues. So now we have extremely high demand, but we don't have much supply. So the stock market actually had one of its best years ever back in 2020 and 2021 because it went on such a huge increase because everyone had money. We were stimulating the economy. We had interest rates at a very low point. But now as we fast forward, we have inflation. Yeah. Inflation is the highest it's been in 50 years. And now again, the Federal Reserve is raising interest rates. So now as we raise interest rates, we're trying to control this monster. We're trying to say, oh my goodness, okay, everyone is still spending. Like we can't stop this right now. We are still spending. So let's raise interest rates at this moment. And interest rates are going to, of course, make things harder to be able to purchase. It's going to make things more expensive in general. So if you wanted to buy a house at this moment, if you actually looked over on CNBC, it's actually the toughest time to afford a home.
Yeah, it's like 5% interest. It's insane.
Well, we had record high prices, and the record high prices were because we had low interest rates and everyone was spending money. So everyone was again purchasing. Now we have record high prices still, and we have interest rates climbing. So there's going to be, that turning point when we keep raising interest rates where people were maybe only paying, for example, $75 a month for their mortgage. Now they're paying again on average around $376 per month. And as home prices keep on climbing, people are going to take out mortgages. And then maybe it's going to get to a point where it's $500 a month. And if, again, people keep on selling, the Federal Reserve is going to keep putting out interest rates even higher until it gets to a point that maybe, again, your mortgage is $4,000 a month. People say, I can't afford this home. I can't afford this mortgage. If the majority of people do that, that's when, again, the prices start tipping. That's when things start dropping. That's when things start getting weaker. So we are, again, the Federal Reserve is trying to basically control inflation. They're trying to stop people from spending so much. But it's just been over the past 2.5 years of us putting up the economy so much and now dropping it on down or trying to control it. And that's the toughest thing to do. And again, Jerome Powell, who is, again, the speaker of the Federal Reserve, he's really trying to not tip us into a recession because what's very difficult to do is to be able to stop people from spending as much and not make us go into a recession.
Yeah, but sometimes you might have to.
That's the,
like
that's the argument.
It's a weird time. Like you can only do so much, right? Like if you pump $2 trillion into the economy by pressing a button and printing it out, you know what I mean? That's where it's like, that's where my confusion, and we could talk for hours about this, and I don't want to jump into that. We could grab a beer afterwards, if anything, and kind of jump into it. But that's what scares me, right?
Yeah.
The idea that there has to be some sort of give. Like there has to be a give.
Yeah.
At one point there has to be.
Let's think about it. Inflation is ultimately like an infinitive circle. So what we have at this moment is we put out 80% of our currency that is currently circulating in the United States was just put out within 2020.
Yeah, it's scary.
That's insane. So now we all talk about supply and demand. I talked about supply and demand in our stock trading and our strategy before, but now we basically have so much demand with no supply. So every single time someone gets money, they're spending it right away because we want to spend it because there's not much of a supply. So let's get it right now in case prices increase. But us, again, spending makes the prices increase because, again, we're taking away more supply. So then we buy something else and now there's less supply, which makes the current supply more valuable. So essentially we get money, we spend it, which takes away supply, which makes, again, prices increase more. And it just keeps on going and going and going. And that's why prices just don't stop. So we need something to essentially slash, again, inflation. What's going to hurt it? And that's why you do get the argument of let's just increase interest rates by a ridiculous amount to just drop and shock the economy, shock the stock market. But that doesn't happen. You don't want to shock the stock market because people don't want to lose trillions of dollars, billions of dollars, these hedge funds. So they have to do it very easily of let's raise interest rates slightly. No, it's still going up. Let's raise them again slightly. Nope, we're still going. Let's raise them again slightly until we get to a point where things start tipping on down. But it's so crazy to think about. Like I'm talking about this right now at this moment. And some people are just learning for the first time, hearing about this the first time. And it's so shocking to me. And I hope, again, all the listeners are gaining value out of this. And I hope people are saying, hey, I learned how Sean was able to make $500,000. I'm learning about what's going on in the market right now. And every single person should already know about this. Ralph, let me ask you, what are probably the 3 most important things in your life?
Wow, you put me on the spot. That's a good question.
3 most important things. And it doesn't
like
have to
across the board. No, I won't make it too sentimental, but God, family, country. Like but that's my own, you know what I mean? Like
Absolutely.
Money's a thing, obviously.
Absolutely. And that's like, to me, I would say the 3 most important things in my life, absolutely, I would say religion, God and Jesus at first. Then I would say family. But then I would say money, how I make my salary. Yeah, my living. And it's crazy to think about. Everyone wants wealth. Every single person wants wealth. We all want to become rich. I know I don't like saying the word rich because I just feel like it's like, let's get rich.
Rich is like right. I could be rich in love, making $36,000 a year, but other people's, you know what I mean? People have a different terminology for rich. I see what you're saying, though.
Yeah, but it's so crazy how the stock market, the number one source of wealth and generational wealth. Half the people don't know, and over half the people don't know what it works or how it works, how to be able to make money. Do you know off the top of your head, let's say what a recession is? A recession, if you do not know, is going to be 2 quarters in a row of GDP growth decreasing. Most people don't even know what GDP stands for, right? Gross domestic product. Do people know, again, how to sign up to a brokerage? Do people know how to be able to do their taxes? Do people know, let's say, the top indicators? Do you know how the 200-day moving average works? Do you know how a VWAP works, a MACD and RSI? Do you know what to be looking for in these top press? And that's how we're able to make money. Why don't we teach these things in school? Why is it when you talk about real estate, when you talk about stock trading and finances, and when you talk about business, we don't talk about that. We don't teach that. And we don't teach that growing on up. You know why? Because it's easier to be able to program and basically build employees rather than build CEOs. CEOs take work. You know who teaches? People who are employees.
Amen.
And we have, again, our certain subjects that we are great. We have, there are great history teachers. There are great, science teachers that can teach you, again, the periodical elements. But that doesn't pay. You know what pays? Learning how to be a CEO. But CEOs don't really teach. So the thing is, you know why? Because they make millions of dollars. They do what they have to do. So it's very tough to be able to get a mentor to be willing to teach you, because it's taking time out of their schedule when they could be making even more money than that. So it's a kind of a crazy world that we live in, that if you honestly want to be able to make as much money as possible, you have to be willing to, again, step out that comfort zone. Kind of what we talked about last time, where you say, I'm willing to put in that work. Everyone wants to become loaded. Everyone wants to be able to become super wealthy, but no one wants to put in that extra work. Everyone wants to put in that extra drive. Something that gets me so furious is that when people, let's say, don't want to wake up early, right? We go back earlier. I said, what are you doing here, right? Like, I love working with traders. I love teaching. I love being able to help everyone out. But when someone says, oh, Deck, I don't want to wake up early, I don't even want to work with you.
I don't want to be a part of it then.
It's like, what are you doing? If you want to be able to make money, you got to be able to put in some sort of work. You got to be able to put in some sort of, hey, I'm going to show up and I'm going to do whatever you tell me to, right? Yeah. But, I was just thinking about, hey, I was teaching a lot of our traders, and I was just saying, do you guys understand what's going on with interest rates right now? Do you understand the opportunity that we're going to have the one time in the next 9 years that we could possibly catch this recession, and all you guys are going to be able to retire in the next few years, and you can understand why we're doing it and understand how it's happening? And everyone was like, no, now I understand it. But I was talking to, again, friends about this, and I was talking to my girlfriend about it, and I was talking about aunts and uncles about it. They have no idea. What inflation is, why it's happening. They don't understand, again, what the Federal Reserve is doing. And we're talking about something that people care about so much. Top 3 things. There's probably, again, money, your salary, how you make a living, you wanting to gain wealth, but no one learns about it. It's like, what are we doing here, guys? Right? We got to be able to, again, take the steps to be able to learn how the stock market works if we want to generate wealth. It's so crazy to think about. So I urge every single person, I'm not saying, again, run over and just all of a sudden start, being like, hey, Sean, be my mentor. That's not, again, a sales pitch. Learn how to, again, trade. Learn how to invest. Learn what's going on in the economy. That's just so important for every single person, because that's how you guys are going to gain success.
Wow. No, I think it's a great closeout, man, because it's true. Have a reason to do what you're doing, right? Your reason's waking up in the morning, you're helping people to maybe give them a new life, right? Like jumpstart, like whatever it is, like whatever their reasoning for following you and doing what they're doing, it's helping them, and clearly it's working, and it's helping you out because you're able to provide all this value back into a stock community that wants to grow and build, and you're building financial freedom for yourself, your family, and potentially your family's family. You know what I mean? So, dude, always a pleasure having you here in the room. I love having you. We'll start doing it. We'll start having you here once a month or something. Maybe we'll work something out. But Sean Dekmar Trades, Tradecaster. Be on the lookout, guys. He's going. It's still happening. He's making his way through the stock community down in Florida. I'm so pumped. I can't tell you how pumped I am actually to be down there.
We got the Tradecaster seminar coming on up, which is, I'm fired up. We have 300 tickets completely sold out, and it's gonna be a blast. It's gonna be a party.
That's gonna be a fun time.
Oh, it's gonna be a party.
Thank you so much for coming, man. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks, bro.